Preparation was essential. The two recent high school graduates about to embark on a possible 1,000-mile round-trip journey on a 5-horsepower Cushman Road King motor scooter. To stipulate a journey of this magnitude, Gary Wilson and Dale Spady would be diligent in their selected provision. Passage to an Army surplus depository established some unique procurements not on their agenda. Gary regarded it as pragmatic. It might appear extrinsic, but a flight helmet liner was in order. It was olive drab in color, a nylon cloth-like material, tight-fitting, and to complement this World War II relic of the past, both boys acquiring amber-tinted goggles. The goggle being a necessity, shielding their eyes from the insect domain of the open road, Gary feeling especially venerable as he would be sitting on 2 sleeping bags, raised up behind Dale on the rear jump seat. Also on order was a saddle bag with several compartments to accommodate changes of clothing and meal rations if necessary. A discussion concerning the extent of travel that could be accomplished in a day was soon dismissed as impractical. This journey would be to experience vibrancy and freedom from the constrictions of responsibility, including mileage goals. Gary placing a well-received telephone call to his cousin Bud residing in Canoga Park northeast of Los Angeles, arrangements being made for the two to stay with him and his family. The Cushman Road King was saddled and ready, as were the two adventurers in the early morning fog encasing the Bay Area. Gary and Dale mounting their oracle of transportation, venturing to the Nimitz Freeway entrance on 98th Avenue. The entrance sign notification was significant: entrance for vehicles less than 5 horsepower not permitted. Heading south on the freeway, the scooter traversing at 40 miles per hour when Dale began slowing to a halt at the side of the road. Gary questioned him if there was a problem. His reason was a resounding, "I'm cold." Gary understood, realizing that they both hadn't considered the wind chill and failed to dress appropriately. The jackets were non-insulated windbreakers. Likewise, the leather gloves they both adorned were also non-insulated, but more for show. Gary could ascertain from Dale's voice that he was hesitant to continue, especially at that speed on the freeway. Gary rationalizing it was the damp fog that was the culprit. Once again they continued their journey, stopping once more before reaching the junction of the Bayshore Freeway and the San Jose city limits. On West San Carlos Street they found a 24-hour bowling alley, making a decision to stop and kill some time, discuss the situation and regenerate some discernible heat. Relaxing and warming the adventure was still somewhat questionable. But a decision was delivered from above as they walked out of the bowling alley, discovering a bright sunlit morning. The truckers were amiable, Gary acknowledging their patience. The Cushman with the two dauntless adventurists aboard was in the slow lane lugging up Highway 17 over the Santa Cruz Mountains. The scooter having fallen in line with the slow-moving tractor and trailer-burdened 18-wheelers. Second gear and 20 miles per hour was the most speed attainable by the loaded Cushman, but once cresting the grade it was 50+ going downhill. Entering Santa Cruz, finding the boardwalk and the beach was tempting, but their limited finances of $75 between them, the wind-blown duo foregoing temptation, deciding to continue, finally finding themselves on Highway 1, the Coast Highway, eager for a Monterey lunch. The marina at Monterey spiked Gary's interest, the slips filled with sailing crafts of every imaginable size. The seagoing vessels nestled side by side, dancing every so slow with the gentle rise and fall of the ocean basin. The invigorating fragrance captured by the shoreward breeze was beckoning its invitation, luring those susceptible to its enticements. Something about the sea made pause, but this was nor the time, but its voice acknowledged, Finding Gary returning from thought joining Dale, the two once more posted on their motorized transport. The sign read, 17-mile drive, and Gary immediately reflected, Pebble Beach, the Cadillac of all golf courses. He noticed that Dale's interest hadn't peaked, but Dale wasn't a duffer. With a little insistence, Dale relented, directing the Cushman towards this legendary golf course. Gary was disappointed. The course as seen from the road was like most links, uninspiring until you teed off and played. Did one absorb the scenic wonders that most non-players are unaware of, experiencing the manicure foliage, the waterfalls, fish-laden ponds, and all the scenic wonders embedded in a golf course. Gary, like many, found the game not always about competing and placement of a ball, but the substance of a fresh breeze, the quiet sculptured solitude, and the aura of enlightened serenity. It was noticeably apparent to him the golf course was out of bounds, but the haven of wonders on the rest of 17-mile drive were more than enriching, and with the afternoon waning, it was back to the Highway 1, Carmel, a very short distance, beckoning. Carmel was picturesque. It reminded the youth of an alpine village bundled amongst a tree-laden enclosure. What astonished Gary was the ambulation down the main street, seizing on the quaintness, up a gentle slope, then suddenly reaching a crest, and then, as if on a Cinerama theater screen, appears an expanse of sparkling white sand, and beyond was the crisp tops of breaking water ebbing onto the beach. Gary, having frequented the beach at San Francisco and walked along its sandy mire, but never having experienced the pristine polish of Carmel's consort. The evening was approaching, finding the two teens once more on the two-lane path of Highway 1, but a new companion joining their company, the ever-present coastal Pacific, keeping watch over their progress. On the left side of the coastal two-lane highway was a turnout area that rose on a gentle slope. Gary, speculating that it had been used as a scenic rest finding where one could gaze below at a small sandy cove with a protrusion of wave-encrusted rocks silhouetted against the glowing sunset ebbing in the west. It was time to lodge for the night. Disembarking the Cushman, the two removed their sleeping expertise, making station for their stay. An open pit was present, apparently some previous spectator having succumbed to building a warming fire, its invitation accepted. The evening drew nigh, and with the sound of cresting seas breaking and rushing to meet the accepting strands of the firm, a nocturnal repose was greeted, a welcomed rest before continuing on in the morning.